and 19 years old. He slept on a park bench. No blanket. No family calling. No future in sight. Just a cracked phone with 2% battery, and a voicemail he was too scared to listen to. Because when you've already lost everything, hope feels more dangerous than despair. But that night, as the rain started falling, one phone call rang through the silence. And by sunrise, his life would never be the same again. Stay with me, because this story isn't just about homelessness. It's about one moment, one decision, and how everything can change when you least expect it. His name was Daniel Brooks. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't a troublemaker. He was just unlucky. Daniel grew up in a small apartment with a mother who worked 2 jobs and a father who disappeared before he could remember his face. When his mom got sick, Daniel dropped out of college to take care of her. Medical bills piled up. Debt followed. Then the eviction notice came. When his mother passed away, Daniel was 19 and completely alone. No inheritance. No savings. No one to call. Just a backpack. And the street. Homelessness doesn't happen all at once. First, you sleep on a friend's couch. Then you overstay your welcome. Then you start saying things like, "I'll figure it out tomorrow," until tomorrow becomes weeks. Daniel learned the rules quickly. Keep your backpack close. Don't fall asleep too deeply. Trust no one completely. He washed up in public restrooms. He ate whatever he could afford or find. Every night he watched people pass by him, laughing, scrolling on their phones, living lives that felt a million miles away. The hardest part wasn't hunger. It was invisibility. The phone Daniel carried was old. The screen was cracked like shattered glass. But it was the last thing connecting him to the world he used to know. Most days it had no service. No data. No notifications. Just silence. Except for one unread voicemail. From a number he didn't recognize. He'd received it weeks ago, but never listened. Because what if it was bad news? What if it was someone asking for money he didn't have? When you're already at the bottom, you don't want reminders of how far you've fallen. So he ignored it. That night was colder than usual. Rain soaked through Daniel's jacket. His shoes were wet. His hands shook, from cold, exhaustion, and hunger. He sat on a bench under a flickering streetlight and stared at his phone. 2% battery. He thought to himself, if this thing dies, that's it. No alarm. No emergency call. No connection to anything. And that's when the phone rang. The sound startled him. He nearly dropped the phone. Unknown number. Daniel hesitated. Then answered. Hello. There was silence. Then a voice. Daniel Brooks. Yes, who is this? Pause. This is Mr. Jonathan Hale. I've been trying to reach you for weeks. Daniel frowned. I think you have the wrong number. No, the man said calmly. I'm very sure I don't. Jonathan Hale explained everything. Years ago, Daniel's mother had helped him during a difficult time. She worked late nights as a caregiver, caring for Jonathan's elderly wife. She was kind, honest, trustworthy. Before she passed, she told Jonathan about her son, about Daniel, about his dreams. Jonathan had tried to find him, and when he finally did, Daniel had already disappeared into homelessness. I owe your mother more than I can ever repay, Jonathan said. And now, I want to help you. Daniel laughed. Not because it was funny, because it sounded impossible. Why would you help me? Daniel asked. Jonathan didn't hesitate. Because someone once helped me when I didn't deserve it. Silence filled the call. Then Jonathan said something that made Daniel's chest tighten. Where are you right now? Daniel hesitated, then told him the truth. I'm outside. I don't really have a place. There was no judgment. Just one sentence. Stay where you are. I'm coming. Daniel stared at the street. Rain continued to fall. He thought it was a joke. Or worse, pity. But something in Jonathan's voice felt real. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Daniel's phone battery hit 1%. And then, headlights. A black sedan pulled up and stopped beside the bench. A man stepped out. Older. Well-dressed. Come. He looked directly at Daniel and said, You must be Daniel. Daniel didn't know whether to cry or run. But he got in the car. The warmth alone almost broke him. They drove in silence at first. Then Jonathan spoke. You don't owe me anything, he said. This isn't charity. They pulled up to a small hotel. Jonathan handed Daniel a key. Get some rest, he said. We'll talk in the morning. Daniel stood there stunned. For the first time in months, he slept in a bed. The next morning, Jonathan met Daniel for breakfast. Not fast food. A real meal. Jonathan listened. Really listened. Then he made an offer that changed everything. He would pay for Daniel's education, give him a place to stay, help him get back on his feet. But there was one condition. You have to try, Jonathan said. Even when it's hard. Daniel nodded. Tears fell into his coffee. The comeback wasn't instant. Daniel struggled. He doubted himself. Some nights, he woke up afraid it was all a dream. But he kept going. Classes. Part-time work. Therapy. Slowly he rebuilt. Jonathan didn't hover. He guided. Like a father Daniel never had. 5 years later, Daniel stood on a stage. Degree in hand. Applause filling the room. Jonathan sat in the front row. Smiling. Daniel found him after the ceremony and said, "You saved my life." Jonathan shook his head. "No," he said softly. "You answered the phone." Years later, Daniel started a foundation. Helping homeless youth. Offering them what he once needed. A chance. A voice. Someone who believes. And every time his phone rings late at night, he answers. Because he knows. One call can change everything. Sometimes rock bottom isn't the end. Sometimes it's the moment just before everything changes. If you're watching this and feeling lost, please remember, your story isn't over, and the call you're waiting for might come when you least expect it. Backhand index pointing right. Like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs hope today. Because one phone call can change a life forever.